Guys, so here's our, so let me cut away some of the stuff here, some of this extra goopy material. Yeah. So you guys are not obligated to dissect a heart. I'm not even sure how many we've got, if we have enough here to give everybody. Okay, so here is the inferior vena cava, or I'm sorry, the superior vena cava. I can't see the inferior vena cava here. So here is your superior vena cava. Here is your pulmonary trunk. It's right here. So here is your SVC. Here is your pulmonary trunk. Here is your aortic trunk. So here are all the blood vessels that come off of here. So let me see if I can trim away a little more of the tissue here so you can see it better. This right here proves to all the people who gave me a negative review on my professor, I do in fact have a heart. So here you can see, so here's the pericardium. Right, so you got the two pericardiums. Here is my aortic notch. Right here you can see.
So is their aorta much smaller?
A little bit smaller than ours, but this is actually pretty comparable in size. The pig heart is actually remarkably similar to ours. So right here, this is your right subclavian. Here is the brachiocephalic. Here is the left common carotid. Here is the left clavicle. Here is your left pulmonary artery, and here is your right right atrium. So let's take this, cut this bad boy open. So here is the base. Here's the apex. Now you can't see the blood vessel. All the blood vessels are removed. Right here, you can see this little shallow depression right here. This is the interventricular sulcus. Right. So here's your apex. Here's your base. So here's all the holes you need to know. So down here. Right, so here is your inferior vena cava. See right here? Here is your superior vena cava. And then here is your pulmonary trunk.
Is the pulmonary trunk the aorta?
No. This is your pulmonary trunk, and then here is the aorta up here.
Yeah, that's what I should just like. Yeah.
Yes.
So the heart is very, very thick, very, very strong. Cutting through, it's like cutting through like a really thick steak. It's pretty hardy. Pardon the pun. It's very strong, very thick, very strong musculars. These scalpels aren't even to the surface. So.
They're not going to be the same. They're super short.
Okay. So you can see here, right? So here is the left side of the heart. As you can see here, it's significantly larger in size to the right side of the heart. You can tell this is the left side of the heart because it's much thicker and much larger, right? So here's also the left heart. So remember, when you cut the heart in half, you're going to have two lefts and two rights. So this is the left portion of the heart. This is the right portion of the heart, right? So here you can see, up in here, you can see the auricles. So here's the auricles up in here. Here, up in here, you can see the trabeculae carinae. Here you can see the chordae tendineae. Here you can see the interventricular septum. Here is your right ventricle. Here is your left ventricle. Here is your right atria. Here is your left atria. So this right here, right, so this is my left ventricle. So right here, this is what's left of my aortic semilunar valve, right? Over here is what's left of my pulmonary semilunar valve. This is my aorta right here that you see, this aortic branch that you see right here. So this here, this hole right here, so what's this? This hole. This is my left atria. This is my pulmonary what brings blood to the heart? Vein. This is my pulmonary vein. Here is this is my pulmonary trunk. Right. So see here. So here's my aorta right here. Here's my aortic arch right here. This is the pulmonary trunk, right? So this is my pulmonary artery. Here's your pulmonary vein. Here's your pulmonary artery. Right? This is also a pulmonary artery right here, or pulmonary vein right here. So here is my aorta. Over here, what's left here of the superior vena cava. Right? So here's the opening for the superior vena cava. That you see right here. So superior vena cava, aorta, pulmonary artery, and pulmonary vein. Right? So SVC, aorta, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein. Make sense? So you need to know these holes for the heart. I want you to know that. I want you to know this is the interventricular septum. I want you to know that this is the right ventricle. This is the left ventricle. Here is your atria, your left atria. Here's your right atria. Here is the chordae tendineae. This part that you see right here, this is the papillary muscle. And then over here you can see the auricles. So here you can see the auricle, right, with the trabeculae, or sorry, not the trabeculae carinae, the pectinate muscle. The trabeculae carinae is what you find here and here. So this is your trabeculae carinae. Up here you can see the pectinate muscle. So the pectinate muscle is on the auricles. The function of the pectinate muscle is to prevent excessive stretching of the atria. Because what's coming in, especially from the SVC and the pulmonary, and both atrias, high amounts of blood is coming in at a high pressure. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that that atria doesn't get too stretched, because if it gets too stretched, it's going to make it harder to push the blood forcefully into the ventricles. Now, I stated last time that you can live with severe dysfunction of the atria. This is true. You can live with it. But optimal cardiovascular function would be significantly degraded if you don't have that, what we call the atrial kick. So, what happens when you jump, right? So you need to jump. What do you do? You dip down. What do? You stretch those muscles. Same thing happens with the atria. Large amount of blood comes into the left and the right atria. It stretches a little bit, and then what does the pectinate muscle do? It contracts more forcefully. So this gives you what we call that atrial kick. This allows you to push that blood more forcefully into the ventricles. The more forcefully you push blood in the ventricles then stretch a little bit and then squirt out their blood. This helps improve cardiac function when you're doing something physically stressful or physically demanding. So that little bit of atrial and ventricular kick allows you to pump the blood more forcefully, having a greater, what we call ejection fraction, and a greater cardiac output. So if I have damage to my atria, I can live a long and healthy life, but I'm not going to be doing anything remotely strenuous. I'm not going to be doing any types of physical activity. Anything more strenuous than a brisk walk is going to be very problematic. Right? All right, so the SVC, the aorta, the pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein, so know those 4 holes, know the 4 chambers, know the tendae coordinate, the papillary muscle, the pectinate muscle, and the trabeculate carne, the interventricular septum, the base, and the apex, and I think, and the sulcus.